What's good? What's good? Happy Saturday. I am back, just like I said I would be. I think we're about an hour and a half from the card starting. Hopefully this is going to be a good one. Hey, what's going on, boys? Sorry about that. Just had to deal with something. My son was having a major crash out. How we doing? What's good, Westy? What's good, Tone? How you doing, Joey? Hope you're well. It's two pretty bad starts in a row. Yeah, so I think we're about an hour away from the card kicking off, something like that. I'm relatively jazzed, I've got to say. I had a nice little stream yesterday. I haven't had a chance to make any shorts out of it or anything, but I remember it being quite psychotic. Apologies prior to that for or post that. Who are we kidding? I'm not really sorry. Got the parlay locked and loaded. We're ready to fucking rumble. It is 4 o'clock in the afternoon in England. You're going grocery shopping. Nice one. This is Westy's dedication to the game. He's out in the supermarket, I'm assuming, and he never neglects his fucking duties. So shout out to you, sir. Big shout out to everyone who turned up yesterday. I can't decide if it was a crash out or not. It might have been. I was in a pretty good mood going into that stream as well. Shit happens. I hope everyone's well though, man. Really excited about this weekend. I got no Premier League football, so fucking UFC is gonna have to get the job done. It bloody better do it. Because I've got a busy day tomorrow. Got to take my son to like a theme park, which is going to be a very taxing day. So the UFC better come through for your boy today. Grimy, you know me. You know me. There's no fucks given around here. Can't help myself. I was speaking facts. I'm glad to hear. I can't really remember what I said. I cannot really remember. I'm just kind of fed up with the whole thing. I did get some like updates after it. I'm just fed up, man. I'm fed up with it. All those alts are just, they're boring me, and I kind of want to put an end to it. I'm all for this channel being crazy and getting a bit retarded at times, but what I won't stand is repetition. I don't live to be in the mundane. You feel me? Grimy, what are your picks looking like for this card? You're usually quite solid. That reminds me as well, in the next half an hour or so, I've got to jump on Tapology and get into Dougie's group, see how I compete with them lot. Whenever I make a pick on anything, I always advise people, don't put money on what I'm telling you to do, because I'm not a professional gambler. And the people who say they are professional gamblers probably shouldn't be followed either. Just go with your gut. That's what you should always do. Don't follow some cunt who's going to give you advice on how two people are going to fight. Yeah, I remember you saying you like Imavov yesterday. I'm on your side. I think Imavov is going to get the job done. I like Houthi as well. I think the only thing that surprised me about the Houthi one, and is a bit misleading to me, is I was expecting the odds to be a lot broader. I still feel like BSD has got some, I don't know, he's got some credit in the bank for some reason. For somebody who's got the low-level wins that he has and has pretty much been slumped by any time he fights good competition, I'm surprised that the odds makers still have faith in him. It's confusing to me. Gomi, I'm a little bit more. I'm not putting any money on Gomi. I think he's shit, and I don't really know much about his opponent, so it wouldn't surprise me if he lost. He's one of those guys who kind of, I've never seen him really win decisively, and that concerns me. Yes. Okay, sorry. Sounds like his mother. Sorry, carry on. Who can beat John Jones? Tom Aspinall could beat John Jones. So could Dominic Reyes, apparently. Depends on who's watching. Yeah, I think that's the thing that pisses me off the most about John Jones's career in its entirety. There are numerous times when he should have been vanquished, as I'd like to put it. Because let's be honest, he's an evil stain on not just the sport but society in general. I threw money on Rufy when his line went all the way down to -140. I couldn't understand. I'm guessing, yeah, it's kind of a Houthi is one of the lesser known fighting nerds, and I do think he's the weakest of the four main staples, if I'm being honest. I think Sam Hughes wins as well. What's her name? Shauna Bannon is not good at all. I saw her fight live at UFC 304, and she was horrendously terrible. I actually thought she lost that fight as well. She probably should have lost to Pooja Tumar, who's Indian and shit. Not that those two things correlate, you know what I'm saying? But she's not very good, and she almost knocked her head off. So I'm expecting her to get out-gritted here. I think she's just going to get dealt with quite easily. And I like the odds on that one. I think you can get Sam Hughes at like a -300. Yeah, Bannon's terrible. And the thing is, yeah, if I'm saying that, it's true. Us Irish, we usually stick together. As far as I'm concerned, she's not one of the gang. She's that bad. Usually we find a way to back our people, not in this instance. So yeah, I'm not expecting Bannon to come through with a win. Like I said, the only disappointment, I would have liked to have seen Cater and who can win the match between Mayweather and Tyson? Oh, it's farcical, isn't it? The thing is, though, it's a joke of obviously it's an exhibition fight. and it's obviously a joke, but we're all gonna watch it. We kind of have to. Curiosity is gonna get the best of us. It's gonna be a pre-written farce, if we're being honest. They're both gonna get paid. Fair play to them. It's not a real fight though. It's gonna. I'm telling you how it's gonna end. It's gonna end in. They're both gonna get to the bell, and no winner's gonna be declared. That's the problem with these exhibition matches. You very, very rarely see somebody get smashed out in an exhibition fight. Very rarely. So I'm expecting this to be the same kind of situation. I'd imagine Tyson's going to be winging a lot of punches, probably missing, and Mayweather's just going to dance around him and tap him a little bit. That's how I see it. That's the only way I can see it going. There's going to be some kind of pre-arrangement beforehand where they, you know, they agree not to go full lever at each other, and they're both going to get money, like you said, bro. So I see it. I see it being like that. It's gonna be a pre-written draw. Because in exhibition matches, unless there's a knockout, which there very rarely is, or a stoppage, they don't even announce who a winner is. So I don't even know if you're going to be able to bet on it or not. I'm assuming it's an exhibition because what else can it be? Aspinall's no problem. We've gone another first round finish coming for the Honey Badger. How you doing, young Black Jedi? I feel like have you got a channel by any chance? I feel like I've heard of you before, but nice to see you here. I agree with you. I think Aspinall's going to win, but I don't think it's going to be as quick as people are expecting. I don't expect it to be a first round because I think Gon is going to be very, very wary of him, and he is kind of good. He's basically a point fighter, so I think it kind of depends on how quickly Aspinall can find an opening to take him down. Because I don't think, although I think Gon is a more technical striker than Tom, they're not light years apart. Whereas in the wrestling and in the ground stuff, Tom is light years ahead of Gon. So there's only one way I can see this going. But we'll see. It will be very, very embarrassing for everyone concerned, especially from my neck of the woods, if Aspinall manages to lose that fight. What do you think of Tapuria versus Islam? I'll be real with you. Before Islam went up to 155, I was convinced that Islam would be too big for him. But seeing the way he so handily dealt with Oliveira and how powerful he looked up there and fast, I'd probably give I don't think there's a better all-round fighter than Tapuria in the UFC right now. And I know that might sound like a major glaze, but I've seen a lot of what this guy did before he got to the UFC, and we haven't even seen the best of him. We know he's obviously got amazing hands. He's obviously fucking chinning guys out. That 3-fight win streak is one of the most impressive we've ever seen. We haven't really seen the full extent of what he can do on the ground. Like, his transitions are amazing. He's very difficult to. He's not impossible to take down, but he's very, very difficult to keep down. And he's a highly intelligent fighter that goes in there with maximum preparation. So I feel like he could get it done. If it happens at 170, that might be a different view. I personally think they won't fight. I don't think that fight ever happens. That's my honest view. But if it did, I would edge Tapuria. I think I'd edge Tapuria against anyone now at that weight class. I already parlayed Silva, Aspinall, and Ank for plus. I mean, that's hard to argue with. I'll be real. I think Ankalaev is going to deal with Pereira as well. I spoke about it before. Watching them, I stated my opinion about this a couple of streams ago. When I watched that fight live, it was a weird one for me because, like I said, there were 3 rounds where they were very minimal strikes. And I felt Pereira slightly outlanded Ankalaev in 3 of the rounds. So technically he could have won the fight, but then he got absolutely dominated in 2 of them. So the thing is, Ilya does have crazy power. He reminds me of, like, not in terms of the way he fights, because obviously McGregor uses a karate stance, but in terms of the shutout power that they've got, Ilya reminds me of him a little bit. But if anything, Ilya is even more intelligent. He's got that touch of death, and he's way more well-rounded, and he's very cerebral. I feel like Ilya talks the way that he does and is confident as he is because he knows the level of preparation that he puts in. With Ilya, I feel like he knows something that we don't. Like he's found a way to study the game and study his opponents in ways that we haven't seen before. Because the way he sets traps is disgusting. Superior didn't know wrestling is Islam, and I think Islam can defend well. I don't think that's a bad take. If you turn around to me and say you think Islam destroys him, I don't think that's a bad take. Like I said before, I saw Ilya at 155. I was convinced that Islam would be way too big for him. I know how good Ilya is on the ground, but just from a sheer Islam's going to have the weight advantage on the night, the size advantage. Logic would dictate that he takes him down and can wet blanket him if he wants to. But what I kind of like about Makhachev is he's not really a squatter. He's not like a lot of the other Dagestani fighters who will just take somebody down, camp, and try and win rounds that way. He doesn't do that often. He tries to find position. He tries to find ground and pound. And I think that could work against him, against somebody like Ilya, who's very wily on the ground and knows what he's doing. And while I think Makhachev is a lot more of an accomplished striker than a lot of the other Dagestani fighters, his striking is nowhere near as good as Ilya's. The precision, the timing, the way he sets traps, the power. It's like Grimey's saying, he's just incredibly technical. How you doing, Nicholas Rimmer? I love the name Rimmer. I hope you're a fucking Red Dwarf fan. Either that or you've got the most goated surname of all time. Who do you think will win between BSD and Rufy? I've got Hoofy just because I think he's going to be too dynamic. And I think he's better potentially everywhere than BSD. The only way I could potentially see BSD winning this fight is if he makes it ugly like he did against Popolek. But my issue with that is that Hoofy's very, very nasty in the clinch. You know, he's very good at sneaking elbows in there. He comes with like really crazy angles. So it's very, very difficult for me to see BSD winning unless Hoofy gets a little bit too confident in himself and gets caught, which can happen to anyone. As for the Baralho and Mavov fight, I've gone with a Mavov. And for the same reason, I don't think Baralho has the same finishing ability that Mavov does. We've seen immense takedown defense improvement from Mavov over the years. And again, I just think he's fought a much better level of opponent. He's younger. I think he's going to be stronger in there. I can see him finishing Baralho later on when he wears him down a bit. I like his straights. And I think he's going to have enough in him to shuck the takedowns. I don't think Cal Baralho is elite anywhere, but he's very good everywhere, if that makes sense. Whereas with a Mavov, I feel like he's got that ability to shut the fucking lights out. What time is it in the UK? It's currently 4:15 in the afternoon. Yeah, BSD got dominated by Moicano, which is a terrible look in hindsight. It is. I mean, Moicano looked horrible against Islam, and then against what was his last fight? Fucking oh my god, his name has slipped my mind. Benil Dariush, which is a terrible look considering how bad he's looked in his previous few. So yeah, I'm not really. And one thing Moicano said is that BSD is very slow, and we've seen that in there. I think he's gonna be too slow to see what's coming at him, and I expect him to get chinned. What if Paul's Craig fight turns out to be like his last? Paul Craig is actually a lot better than people think he is. I like Paul Craig. I do. He's gonna get beaten up here though, I think. But Modestas Bukauskas is a bit of a strange one because he's not really elite either. So Paul Craig might show out here. This is another one that I didn't put a bet on. Day or night? It's 4:15 in the afternoon, sir. I assume you're from India or in that region, so I'm assuming it's about, I don't know, you're like maybe 4 or 5 hours ahead potentially. What's up, homie? I'm about to smoke some meth. How you doing, Ricky? Yeah, Benil. Yeah, it's the middle of the afternoon. It's middle of the afternoon. It's nice that I don't have to have any lights on. I can get some natural light in here. Yeah, BSD and the staffing. I don't know if there's been any reported incidents of it this time, but it wouldn't surprise me. The guy needs to start fighting on or training on some clean mats. I get it happening once every so often, but Jesus Christ. Not a good look. You just look like a dirty cunt. Do you know what I mean? Cut it out. But nice to meet you, Nicholas Rimmer. Yeah, if you haven't seen the show Red Dwarf, mate, watch it. I'm assuming you're from the UK, or maybe that's a wrong assumption. If you haven't seen the show Red Dwarf, don't watch the American version. Watch the English version. It's like an old sci-fi show, and the character Rimmer is the best fucking thing in it. He's sensational. BSD could win a decision. BG Tuss, again, I don't despise it because Hoofy is a goofball, and there is a very, very strong chance that he could gas out later on in the fight. And BSD, I don't think he's all that technical, but he's got balls of steel. So there's potential that Roofy could burn bright really early and then fade if he doesn't get the finish. It's a concern, but I think at those odds, you have to take Hoofy based on what we know about both fighters. I wouldn't be surprised if Paul Craig loses a decision here. I wouldn't be surprised either. I think it will go to a decision because Modestus Bukauskas isn't exactly a killer himself. I can see that going to a decision and Paul Craig being very cautious. Derrida is way better than you think, and no, doesn't have the body conditioning of a fight. I like Reina Derrida. I like him a lot. I do think he's goofy and a bit unorthodox. When you watch Reina Derrida, he looks like a even worse version of Dricus. Just like uncoordinated, but at the end of the day, what he does is very, very effective. People say the same things about Fluffy, but he's fucking effective. And that's what matters in this game. Being effective, getting the job done. I want Hoofy to get a KO for more star power. BSD is a name that's respected. I know he's had a couple losses, but I can see why that would certainly elevate him. Hoofy with the right path. I think he could get to like top 5 opponents, but I don't see him getting further than that. He's a lot less defensively responsible than a lot of his counterparts. So, yeah. There's no way BSD is beating anyone under 35 years old. Mokano is slow as hell, and he looked like lightning compared to BSD. Kloss, I have to agree with that. And shout out to you, by the way. It's always good to see you here. Our own fucking Dominic Reyes up in the business. He does have bad footwork. And like I said, Derrida's effective. People can talk shit about him looking goofy and looking like he wings shots and all that kind of shit. But he's very, very, very effective. And that's all that matters in this game. Making getting your opponent uncomfortable, getting in their face. And Derrida does that. And he's fucking big. How you doing, Greg Brown? What's good, bro? Fluffy is a street fighter. Fluffy has cardio for days. And he's got a chin as well. He's a bit weak to the body, which is what concerns me about Fluffy. I feel like if somebody invests very hard in the body and invests early, he might come unstuck. But he's been one of my favorite fighters for years. I love his grit. And I always appreciate somebody who gets in somebody's face and just drowns them. I sound like a serial killer right now. If only Dricus had Strickland's defensive skill, he'd never lose. Yeah, he needs to get some rounds in the wrestling 100%. But again, it is Hamzat, whose wrestling is unbelievable, as much as I dislike the prick. I'm Indian, please hate me now. No, we don't hate you, bro. You got to understand, I say some things on here that it's all tongue in cheek. It's just a joke. I take the piss out of everyone. That's what I do. Does Ankalaev know wrestling as many Dagestani players do at wrestling? If he's so good at wrestling, can you defeat DC? DC would destroy him. Ankalaev is actually more of a striker. I think there's an assumption about him that he's wrestling purely first just because where he's from. Not really. Ankalaev is more striking based first. His wrestling is not even that good. But again, the way he uses it is very, very effective. Like, he makes you think like it's always going to be there, and then he uses it to create openings. So he has there's high evidence from him that he has strong fight IQ. If Hamzat dominated phase 3 DDP, then Derrida has no chance. I think that out of all of the guys left, here's how I would rank the 4 contenders right now, yeah. I would have Imavov as being the biggest threat. then Fluffy, then Calbaralho, then Derrida. That's how I would rank the 4 existing threats to Hamzat. But again, I'll state the same issue that I've had this whole time. Getting Hamzat to fight regularly is gonna be a fucking issue. Sorry for my swearing. Can't help myself. Anyway, if you're new here, please do subscribe and like the channel. Be very much appreciated. Yeah, Hamzat's wrestling is good, but DDP's takedown defense was well beyond bad. I can literally defend takedowns better than Drickus can. Yeah, Ricky. I mean, the strange thing about I think the problem was here. We talked about this briefly after the card happened. So I just saw someone say my butt hurts and it's thrown me off. I've got to stop reading the chat while I'm trying to explain myself. I think that was part of DDP's game plan to just keep himself safe and to wait for Hamzat to get tired later on and then to do something about it. But you have to put Hamzat under pressure for his gas tank to drain. And he wouldn't. He couldn't do that. So Hamzat's going to do that all day. I will say this, though. There was evidence that it was starting to work in the 5th. So if it had been a 10-round fight, Drickus would have won. JDM versus Ilya, who will win? JDM's too big, in my opinion. I think JDM's going to beat Islam as well. JDM's boxing is incredible, and he's got very good takedown defense. When he does get taken down, he's fucked. You can't get back up once he's taken down, but it's very hard to get him down in the first place. And I think Islam's gonna fucking blow hot air trying to do it. I think JDM is gonna put on a masterclass against Islam. I think the Islam and JDM fight is gonna be very similar to what happened between Israel and Jan Blachowicz years ago, where everyone's going in there expecting Izzy to just fucking mow through him and just get comfortably outclassed. That's kind of what I'm expecting JDM to do, and it's going to be a shock to everyone because a lot of people think these fucking Dagestanis are invincible, and they aren't. The game is changing. Sorry for the grammatical mistakes. I'm bad at English. It's all good, bro. You're on the internet. Do your thing. Only way is to stop takedowns over and over until he gets frustrated and gives up, but I don't know if Hamzat ever does it. Yeah, no, Grimy, this is what we're saying. You need to make Hamzat tired. And that means putting some grappling on him like Usman did, or trying to at least. Even if it's unsuccessful, just make him tired. Wear the fucker out, because it's well documented that his gas tank isn't there. But it doesn't mean you can just Homer Simpson your way through it and wait, because you're obviously using up a lot more energy when you're defensive. And people need to do that to Hamzat. I think I honestly think there's a world where DDP could beat him if he changes his strategy. Sorry, my ass is cramping. How you doing, Kurt? Was good, G. It was funnier the way you said it the first time. I'm picking JDM. Of course you are, because you know the fucking game. Again, if you think Islam's going to maul JDM, this is more of a opinion based on what I've seen. Again, I can't shit on anyone who's saying Islam beats him, because it's not ridiculous. Islam's an amazing fighter. He's one of the few Dagestanis that I actually enjoy watching fight. Very well-rounded guy. I think he's got off lightly fighting the people that he has fought. And, there's been a little bit of a suspect of cheating every now and then, but he is a very accomplished fighter and probably one of the most well-rounded Dagestanis we've ever seen. But Izzy was a striker. Islam is well-rounded with elite-level wrestling. Islam is not an elite-level striker. He's a good striker. And he's a very good wrestler. And he's durable and he's got a chin. I wouldn't even say it. Let's put it this way, yeah. Who would you say is a better wrestler out of Khabib and Islam? You'd probably go with Islam, right? Sorry, Khabib. You say Khabib was a better wrestler. I would have somebody like Khabib Hamzat as like an elite level wrestler, whereas I'd have Makhachev as very good, because we've seen incidences where he couldn't take down Volkanovski, for example, and where he couldn't take down Dustin Poirier. But his striking is good, and that's what makes him so dangerous, because his all-round game, he sets up openings by mixing things up. And that's what I like. He's a far more superior striker than Khabib ever was. So yeah, he's a very, very good fighter. But the reason why I don't like the fight for him with JDM is because JDM's got amazing takedown defense. His striking is going to be way better than Islam's, and we're going to see that. He's going to piece him up. He's going to be the much bigger man, stronger in there. I can see him coasting to a win, to be honest. I think it will go to a decision because Islam's tough, but I think he cruises his way to a win. I can see him winning 4 rounds to 1. Something like that. Yeah, I do hate how half the fan base glazes those Dagestanis. Yeah, it's when you get people from that region who are buffs, and it's not really that people from Dagestan. It's usually Muslim fans who back their guys, and I understand it, but don't suck dick. That's all I'm saying. Get off your fucking knees. Islam's chin ain't holding up at 170. You heard it here first. The thing is, yeah, when you're inbred, man, you got a chin in it, and let's face it. I'm not saying all Dagestanis are inbred. I'm saying I know the region. And I know how things go on around there. I mean, Khabib is married to his cousin. From a scientific perspective, it's not a very good idea. But what do I know? I know everything. And according to science and passing down genetics from one person to another, vary the gene pool, motherfucker. Hold on, that's Volk though. And Dustin had experience in fighting Khabib, so he was aware of Islam's skill level. Again, you make a fair point, but Volkanovski is a much smaller person. And Islam, this is why I'm saying Islam is very good, but he's not the elite of the elite. If Islam was elite, he should have been able to deal with Volkanovski in that realm pretty comfortably, or at least get more control of the takedowns than he did, in my opinion, if he's elite. I'm not saying he's not good. I want to be clear about that. But he's not the elite of the elite. And I think if he's going to go up to 170, if he's showing me that he can't demonstrate elite takedown defense against people that are 145ers, and let's be honest, very mid-level 155ers, think about the people he's beat. You could make an argument that pure 155ers, Dustin Poirier is probably his best win at 155, which is crazy to say, considering how many people suck this guy off. If he's struggling to dominate in the wrestling throughout a fight against 155ers, I can see him struggling at 170. But I could be wrong. And maybe when he goes up to 170, he doesn't have the weight cut and he comes out being more, you know, I don't know, more powerful there, more stable there, more dangerous. That's the beauty of this fight. It's a 50-50, in my opinion. I'd be very interested to see what the odds are for that one. Yeah, the inbred comment was a bit cold. Sorry about that. I'm definitely putting money on JDM. I think I saw him at plus 250 now that I remember it. Because I think I did like a, yeah, when I checked at the time, he was plus 225. You take that. There are very solid tangibles you can see where JDM is going to be problematic for Islam. Some of the shots Khabib took in his career with a, Khabib had a goddamn chin. And Islam has been flatlined before. Let's not forget that. He's been fucking ironed out cold. Frankie, why go across the street to get laid when you can walk across the hall? Lol, daggies, 100%. Yeah, like why make the effort to go outside and meet a woman when I can get my uncle to hook me up with his daughter? You feel me? Cut through the whole process of small talk. Get a family hookup for some vagina. Imagine being Khabib's kids knowing you're the product of cousins. This is the thing though, like in those countries, yeah, it's just a given thing. It's like I worked in Qatar for a couple years, and they were all fucking each other and breeding with each other. It was bizarre. And I'm not saying, again, people are gonna go, oh, you're being racist, yeah. It's not racist if it's factual though. It's not. There's 300,000 people in the whole country. Do the maths. And Khabib factually married his cousin. It's not racist if it's true. And I'm not saying they all do it. Keep the money in the family and all that. Have you seen Andreas Gustafsson lift all those crazy weights? The guy is crazy strong. You can see that in his fights. Andreas Gustafsson, by the way, Cayman Rider. Fucking love you, bro. Andreas Gustafsson will bring the fight. And that's what you can guarantee with this guy. He's going to bring the thunder. 1,000,000%. So the reason why I haven't bet on Gustafsson in this fight because I think it's too close to call. However, I would feel comfortable betting on him because even if even if he gets chinned out or loses, you know that he's never going to quit. And I can stand losing my money as long as somebody doesn't completely pussy out. Bro also survived that Barbosa spinning back kick when it meant something as well. People forget, man. Barbosa was a fucking destroyer back in the day, and he landed some nasty shit. I would pick JDM, but I'm worried he'll get pressed into the fence for the entire fight. The thing about Islam, and the reason why I don't shit on Islam is he doesn't really do that much. People can talk whatever they want about Dagestani wrestling or whatever. The reason why I can tolerate Islam as a champion, and I've never talked ill of him, is because he tries to advance position when he's on the ground. He tries to be aggressive in the striking. He tries to create openings. He tries to be diverse. He takes risks. And that's why I can't hate on the guy. I hate on the guy for the level of competition that he's faced and the fact that he could have had a harder route to get where he is. And that's why I don't have him in like up at the top of the pound for pound conversations. But it's not entirely his fault. It's partially his fault because of when and where he chooses to fight. Rather than being active, he kind of fights. He says, right, I'm going to fight once or twice a year. This is where I'm going to fight. And he's very sort of strict about that. And he positions himself so that he's lined up with certain opponents. But you can't really blame him for beating up the people that have been put in front of him. So, yeah, it's not racist. I mean, the thing is, yeah, again, I say stuff that certainly can be interpreted as racist on this channel. But I think people who have been around here enough know that it's not really what my MO is. I'm not a racist guy. I've got time and understanding for everyone. As long as you're not like touching kids or like a rapist. There's probably a few other things on that list, but I'm not going to get into that. This whole he-she thing is quite confusing to me. But again, I used to say the same thing about gay people when I was young. And it's all good now. I'm a dog. If I had a hot distant relative, sure, I'd hit it, but I would never reproduce with it. Well, Ricky's coming with the truth there. The problem is, Ricky, yeah, I despise using condoms, as you know. I mean, you know it personally, you know what I'm saying? And my pull-out game is at times atrocious. And obviously, I've got Chad level sperm, so it's an accident that's waiting to happen. Man, never respect that type of language from you. Sorry, Mohammed Bilal, I can't help myself. It's just how I was raised. I was raised around foul-mouthed, disgusting people. And I'll be honest with you, when I'm out and about on the street and when I'm at work, I don't speak like that. So this is just me at my most relaxed. But I mean no offense. Shout out to you, Tone K. I fucking love you, man. I always forget to remind people to like and subscribe to the channel. This is why my channel never really grows that much. Because people will watch a whole stream, they might enjoy it, and they forget to click a like or to subscribe. And then they never see my weird face again. Frankie, what up, Holmes? Any odd picks for today, bro? I'm mainly underdogs on this one. Let me have a quick look. Let me have a quick gander, as they say. It's Renat Fakhretdinov he's fighting. I think he wins that, actually. And I quite like Renat. In terms of underdogs, Harry Hardwick might be a decent shout against Kaue Fernandez. Harry Hardwick's decent, and he's been waiting for this opportunity for a while. Harry Hardwick obviously had a really good career in Cage Warriors. He's been waiting for this for a long time. Kaue Fernandez is good, though. So it could be another British fraud check or a newcomer check. Harry Hardwick, if you're looking for an underdog, might be the way to go. This is a very hard card to pick. Reese McGee isn't terrible. Balaki Oji as well. Oh, sorry, Balaji Oki is not bad as well because I like Mason Jones, but with him being the favorite, there could be potentially money there. And the odds on Houthi are actually getting slimmer. So you can actually get more money on Houthi. And I've got Nasadina Mavov as well, who's an underdog. So those would be my technical 5 underdog picks. It would be Imavov, Balaji Oki potentially. I'm not really going to put Reese McGee in there because I don't love that for him. Harry Hardwick. And that's probably it. I don't think Renat's an underdog, but I don't think he's going to get the job done. Tibura's currently has a pick'em. Tibura's really good for a fat lump of shit. He's a fat lump of shit. I wouldn't necessarily I mean, Reese McGee is better than people think, but I wouldn't really be putting money on him either. So that's a dangerous one to go for. I think there's some really good fights in here. Like my picks through, if I had my arm twisted behind my back and I had to make, picks from beginning to end, I'd go Sam Hughes to beat Shauna Bannon because she's shit. I'd have Gustafsson to beat Fakradinov, but I think that's going to be a scrap. I've got Brad Tavares to beat Brychek. I've got Sam Patterson to beat Trey Waters. I'm going to pick Harry Hardwick to beat Howie Fernandez because I think he's been waiting for this for so long. I can see him getting it done. I think I'm going to go for Tibura over Delija just because it's such a big step up for Delija. I've got Umar Sy versus. Do you know what? Bredson Ribeiro might not be that bad because Umar Sy should not be a minus 600 against anyone. The guy lost to Alonzo Manyfield, and you can get Bredson Ribeiro at like plus 450. Bredson Ribeiro, and he is shit. Don't get me wrong, but it's MMA, and fighters are dumb. I've probably got William Gomis against Robert Richala, but I can see that being close. I don't like William Gomis at all. Part of me is tempted to go Reese McKee over Solar. Balaki OG, I think, maybe slightly outpoints Mason Jones. Then I've got Bukowskis over Craig. Houthi beats Benoit Saint Denis, and then I've got Imavov beating Baralho. That's where I'm at. Yeah, Timmy, you know what you're doing. And like I said, I've had such a streak here over the last 10 weeks. I know that it's about to end. So I'm expecting it. What do you think about the friendship between Khabib and DC? Honestly, it's nice, man. It's kind of heartwarming. I like the relationship they've got. DC is fucking insufferable to listen to on commentary, but he's clearly a good person and a good teammate. And their relationship's kind of funny. No, I enjoy the both of them. I think they're it's quite sweet seeing them go back and forth. Ribeiro has a 0% takedown defense. No cap. Look it up. Wow. That's concerning. But also, what's his face? I've forgotten his name already. I know that he does have decent takedowns, but he fancies himself. Omar Sy fancies himself as more of a striker. Or he tries to swing for defense. And what bothers me about Umar Sy is he obviously just lost. So he might go out. He can go two ways right now. He can either go out there and think, right, I've got to fucking smash someone out to get a win. And then he might get into a firefight and get chinned. Or he might think, do you know what? I just need to get a win. I've got to play it safe. And he just goes for the takedowns. And Bredson Ribeiro is awful. So Frank and I have the same picks. Grimy, what can I say? Great minds think alike. It's impossible to hate on DC the man, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, he's a waffler, and his views on wrestling are delusional. But the thing is, yeah, I don't even hate on him for that because wrestling is pretty much DC's entire identity. And he was a lot more than a wrestler, you know? DC was a very good MMA fighter. But he sees his whole identity as wrestling. And I think that's part of what the cope is. I think he just can't help but glaze the thing that he spent his entire life doing and believed in, you know? And I think with those fighters that have obviously lived and fought at the time, it's very, very hard to see when the game is changing. And it clearly is because Americans have no prospects right now. Literally none that are anywhere near championship level in the UFC, which is bonkers. And I think that's why we're getting a lot more cards outside. Thoughts on plans to introduce tigers in England? Eric, I think that's a brilliant idea. Just let them loose in South London. Sort the population problem out a little bit. I'm down for it. I think five South Londoners beat a tiger though. If we're going to get into that debate, we move different. He's going to wear him down with the takedowns. Ribeiro's gas tank is arsed, and he's going to TKO in the feet in round 2. I guarantee. Not a bad shout at all. The odds are the way that they are for a reason. I'm just saying, Umar Sy gassed horribly against Alonzo Menifield. And Alonzo Menifield, with all due respect to him, is completely shit. So it's not a good look. I've got BSD. Yeah, I know what I was doing to back your Tim Elliott bet. Yeah, I'm picking and punting with the crown in the last. Fair enough, bro. I said Tim Elliott was gonna beat Kaya Sakura, and nobody listened to me. Nobody. I also said that Charles Johnson was gonna be what's his face? Lona Kavanagh. Nobody believed me. And here's the thing, yeah, I don't blame you, yeah, because I get a lot of shit wrong as well, and I'm not a professional. I do what everybody else does when it comes to MMA. You go with your instinct. Elijah Smith, we haven't seen enough from Elijah Smith yet. He's a good prospect to look forward to, but he's nowhere near where he's nowhere near being in a conversation yet. Do you think current heavyweight champions can defeat Fedor? I think John Jones would have fucked him up, and I think Tom Aspinall would have fucked him up as well. And I'm talking about a prime Fedor. Fedor's on a lot of people's goat mountain, and again, I get it. I wasn't really a major Pride watcher though. I kind of joined watching MMA after the Pride era was kind of at an end. So I'm not as high on. So you can take what I'm saying with a pinch of salt, because I saw a lot of Fedor's later career, and a lot of people are going to hate me for that. So yeah. Never pick against energy. Never pick against a man who's willing to walk around with a soul patch on the back of his head. The guy clearly doesn't give a fuck. Do not do it. No, you're picking and punting with the crown lately, bro, not me. I've been riding you to the back. Oh, you legend. The thing is that, like I said, man, Timmy, I've been on a nasty 10 card winning streak. I've literally made like $4,000 in the last 10 weeks. But I probably lost like 3,000 in the 6 months before that in total. So I'm kind of like, I'm up, but not as much as I could be. I'm very, very streaky, and I admit it. I would never say to people, I'm guaranteeing you this. This is a lock. This is 100% going to happen. I would never say anything like that. And I know that some people, when they use the word lock, that's not what they mean it as. But I would never tell people, oh, he's definitely going to win. I might have said that once or twice in the past. But when it comes to gambling, you got to go with your gut. I'm saying take people's advice. If you listen to a load of people's advice and you're swayed one way or the other, let it do its thing. But when it comes to MMA, you got to go with your gut. And also be prepared that somebody might come in there and utterly shit the bed. Because fighters ain't the smartest people. Cain would have also cooked Fedor. Luke M, I agree with that. Cain Velasquez is a weird one to me. Because when Cain Velasquez was at his best, he would have beat anyone probably. But he just had his moments where he got caught slipping and got chinned. Like losing to Junior Dos Santos the way that he lost, getting bricked out, and obviously Ngannou as well wasn't a great look. But so he has those weird performances in his career. But if you're talking about best version of himself on the night, Cain Velasquez does Fedor. If you get the best version of Fedor and the best version of Cain Velasquez, I think Cain wins that every time. Emmett Elor is a good US prospect. No idea who that cunt is. Austin Bashi is mid. He's already lost, hasn't he? Man, this is what I'm saying though. When you're drawing out names like fucking Elijah Smith and Austin Bashi, you know your nation is in the toilet, mate. You know it. You know it. Shout out to you, Luke M, for turning up though, bro. I appreciate you. Thanks for stopping by. And just another quick reminder to anyone that's here. If you could like and subscribe to the channel, it doesn't really help me out a lot because I don't get paid one way or another. But it's nice to see those numbers going up and building the community and have more people to come in and talk shit. Somebody just said Mighty Mouse. Mighty Mouse is my GOAT. Somebody asked me earlier who would win in a fight between Ilya and Ngannou. I'm just remembering that. If you got an Ilya-sized Ngannou, we know what the answer would be. Ilya would fucking destroy him in seconds. Yeah, Mighty Mouse for me is the greatest MMA fighter of all time. Hands down. I don't even think it's close. Douglas Memo, how you doing, my G? Are you locked and loaded and ready for this card? Because I definitely am. This is what I love about doing a little community chat before we get into it, because my balls just start tingling. And I am so up for this. I am so game for this. I think it's because obviously we haven't had a card for a couple of weeks as well. And things were so dire, yeah, that I actually started gooning over that fucking Misfits card last weekend. That's how bad things got. That I'm going on like that Misfits card was anything worth watching. I must have lost my goddamn mind. Elijah Smith has more skill and athleticism at his age than Poirier and Holloway. Elijah Smith could go on to be a champion. He very much could be. I think it's a little bit earlier. It's a little bit early to say that right now. He looks great. He hasn't fought anyone. So we're going to have to give him time. But in terms of the eye test, he does look very, very good. While we're bagging names, tell me Timothy Denham doesn't sound gay and I'll say you're talking shit. Nah, mate. Great name. Do you know anything about Fairtex? I love Fairtex. I love Stamp. She's amazing. I went over to Thailand. I've been over to Thailand twice to watch her fight. And I was secretly going to hit on her as well. I was going to shoot my shot. I'm that delusional. And I accidentally got the event time wrong the first time that I went there and missed the entire event. But I've been back since and seen her fight. And she's sensational. It puzzles me, yeah. Vignesh, it puzzles me, yeah, how the UFC does not have an atomweight division. To me, that's criminal. It's very true in the weight classes for the men, where the lower the weight they are, the more highly skilled they are and well-rounded. And it's the same for the women. The women's atom weights in one championship are absolutely incredible. They scrap it out and they're so skilled. It's a different level. So to long-windedly answer your question, I'm a big fan of Stamp Fairtex, and I would tap that all day long. Austin Bashi got wrestle fucked by Christian Rodriguez, which isn't a bad thing in the long run, in my opinion. You fight easier guys if you get a loss early on. I don't hate that as well. The Christian Rodriguez loss has not aged that well. Anonymous, I don't know what you think here, but us white people don't meet together and start handing out passes. I'm not very high in the white power pyramid. I don't get access to those meetings where we get access to shit, mate. I'm Irish. We're the black people of Europe. I bet you see Elijah Smith and Austin Bashi on the White House. No way, mate. Unless they do something major in the next year, I don't see it. I genuinely don't. That White House card is going to be stacked to high heaven. It's going to be, if it does happen, which I have my reservations about. I guess they kind of have to do it now. Mr. C, I think the card starts in about 20 minutes. 20 minutes to half an hour, something like that. But no, Elijah Smith and Austin Bashi are going to have to tear the roots out in the next year to get there. It's going to be more stacked than 300. It has to be. Everyone and their mums is going to be clamoring to get on that card. Whatever, she's gorgeous. Yeah, she's fun to me. She's not conventionally beautiful, but there's something. She looks like she might be dirty. Do you know what I'm saying? I reckon she would be a hell of a smash. Call me disgusting if you like, but I know you see it too. It better be as stacked as UFC 300. I reckon it will be even more stacked. Mate, you can't have a independent, like a, what is it, certain amount of years of independence. going to all that length at the White House. All the eyes are going to be on it. Westy seems convinced that it's going to happen. I guess they kind of have to. Forgive me for thinking that your president is a bit of a bullshitter. Kerry Butterfield is a good name too, but it's still gay though. Timothy Denham's not a gay name. That's a Chad's name, mate. So yeah, Mr. C, thanks for stopping by. It's in about, like I said, it's in about 20 minutes to half an hour. I would say safely half an hour. I think the event will start and then... Oh, we've got a fuck, marry, kill in the building. Let's see. Kill, marry, smash, Stamp, Obanon. I've heard of Obanon. Hang on a second. Let me just make sure that I know what I'm getting myself into before I make this. Obanon. I'm not getting any result. O'Bannon. Who is that? All right, well, I don't know who O'Bannon is. I would go with I'd wifey Stamp, I'd kill Valentina, and I mean, if O'Bannon turns out to be a dude, it's still going to be a tough call. Because I think Valentina would literally... Valentina reminds me of like a Black Widow. I think she would literally rip your package off in the middle, or she would kill you after she comes inside you. Because let's face it, that's exactly how it would go down. UFC 300 with a better main event, 100%. They've got to. It's got to be a Irish... Oh, you mean Shauna Bannon? Oh man, I might have to take that. I'd put one smash in Shauna Bannon, I'll be honest. Shauna Bannon, yeah, I'd put one pole up her and then send her on her merry way. You know, you're literally deleting the number and blocking her as she's going downstairs to the taxi. The old fucking Chuck. But that's an easy one, bro. Yeah, I'll go with that. Valentina Shevchenko is a bit too aggressive for me. She comes across as opinionated and she's a bit too muscular. I think women should be a bit more feminine. And Stamp's cute and feminine. And Shauna Bannon might look like a clapped out slag. But I reckon she'd be good for one chuck. Whereas Valentina, that post-nut conversation would not be the one. Not the one. Luke, thank you for that question. And sorry for answering it. My bad, bro. You're betting Bannon by second round sub. She's shit. She's shit. But I tell you what, at least she's what was I gonna say? I forgot it. Sorry. The chat keeps distracting me. Yeah, the old bash and dash. You know what I'm saying, Timmy. How's it going, David Panda? Frankie, I'm watching you in Pick'em right now. I didn't even know Pick'em was on. Again, I was saying this yesterday. I've never, ever seen... I don't even know what Pick'em looks like. But he's doing very, very well, from what I've heard. He's got a very successful channel. And apparently he's very good at making picks. So shout out to Pick'em. Pick'em MMA. Yeah, sorry, Luke. I got into a little bit too much detail, though. When anything comes up about, like, tits and ass, I ramble. Ramble! Why MMA fighters are beautiful? I mean, they're not. The thing is, bro, I'm going to tell you this, Vignesh, here. MMA fighters, and women MMA fighters are capped at a 7. How you doing, Keanu Reeves? I loved you in Twilight. Do you know, I get this quite a lot, you know. I get this quite a lot. I take it as a compliment. I do. And I loved you in The Matrix and every other movie you've been in. While we're sucking each other's dicks. John Duploy, you are a bonehead. Get a job and a life. I'm a university professor, you dumb cunt. And I have children and I'm a baller. So get off the keyboard and get yourself a life. Cunt. Welcome to the channel. Yeah, I'm getting timed out every 6 minutes. Feels good to sip coffee and talk MMA. Shout out to that, bruv. Well, David Panda, I don't know exactly what was going on yesterday with the chat, but it sounds to me like you were bringing it on yourself. To be honest. But I didn't really see exactly what was said. So again, you know, as long as just come in here and keep it friendly, bro. That's all I ask. I don't want to hear, if I hear anything about Lane or Westy or any dumb stuff, they have my full authority to kick people out. I said that yesterday and I'm sticking to it. I'm done with all of it. I was done with all of it after 5 minutes. You're very welcome, Keanu Reeves, and it's a pleasure to have you here, sir. Frankie, I can't lose on female bets because I play Nacho's picks, but I use the super system, so I never lose. What is the super system? Luke, where are you from, mate? I'm assuming because you're saying mate, you're from the UK. To be honest, Luke, I used to do watch-alongs where I would get out a bottle of whiskey and plow my way through it and do just embarrassing shit. I can't be fucked now, though, you know. 7 hours is a long time. Fortunately, there is an Australian Chad who I'm like the warm-up band. And then Dougie's Corner goes on. He's like the better looking Australian, bigger dicked version of me. And he goes on directly after me. I mean, we're both hung like fucking horses, but he's got the slightly better deal. And he goes on and he does an entire watch along. And he is amazing value. Fucking love Dougie down to the ground. So what happens is when he goes live, I'll send up a link and I guarantee you will be entertained. I mean, if you're hanging out here, entertainment clearly isn't your number one priority. Hi, do you remember me? We were at the club when we went to your place. I'm calling you, but you don't pick up. Have you forgotten about our night? No, I don't know. I've never done that in my life. I have no idea what you're talking about. But keep talking because it makes me sound amazing. If Dana introduces the UFC in India, would it be interesting? I think the biggest problem, that all joking aside about India and Indian fighters, which I like to do because I'm a bit of a cunt bag. MMA is relatively new in India, but it's such a massive place, and there are so many stories that can be created from there that I think they should have a performance institute there, because there are literally millions of people there who would fight tooth and nail to have the opportunity, and they would bring a massive following. I think if the UFC was smart, and clearly they're aware of this, they would make more of an effort to push the market out in India. By the way, Nastia, I don't fuck white girls, so sorry, you would have never had a chance. Sorry. Dougie is good shit. Yeah, Dougie's the fucking man. I love Dougie. Dougie's gonna get to very, very high levels here. You see, I just come on and talk a lot of shit, have a little bit of fun, but Dougie's actually serious about this shit. He makes videos. He streams very, very regularly. I stream when I can be fucked, which isn't that often. UFPPL in India or Africa? If I had to choose between the two, and again, this isn't, I don't mean to sound like a racist here, but Africa probably will produce more genetically gifted athletes, I would say. But some Indian folk have good genetics as well. So it's like, but you would say, based on what we know, I would think PFL Africa, not PFL, sorry. The UFC setting up ground in Africa would be better. But why not do both? They've got the infrastructure and the money. Do both. Why choose? What's the purpose of ring goals? I'll be honest with you. I don't really notice them anymore. What was weird to me as well, yeah, is when they went to China, I definitely noticed them. I was like, God damn, there. But that's my preference. I've never really noticed ring girls. David Vickers, are you a UFC fighter? Are you crazy? Look at me, bro. I'm a nerd. I'm an academic nerd. Have I had fights out on the street every once in a while? Absolutely. Do I win all of them? Absolutely not. But I give it a fucking go. Please hit the like button. That would be very, very much appreciated. I said the channel has had some decent growth over the last 6 months in particular. They sell violence and sex. Yeah, I mean, those are the two, let's be honest, those are the two currencies of maximum male currencies. They tell you what round it is. That is a good point. Because when I'm beamed off my tits, I do need to remember what round it is. And they do help. And tits, of course. Tits. You're from Russia. I know what a Russian flag looks like. You kind of look like Konstantin kissing. I swear I've heard this before as well. I haven't had the guts to look this up because I don't want to break my own heart. Let's do it. Constantine. This is going to be some meth addict. This is going to be some meth addict looking motherfucker, isn't it? In fact, I think I've looked this up before. Kiss. Russian commentator and author. I mean, could be worse. Could be worse. ONE FC doesn't have ring card girls. It has girls that come into the ring after though, and they are fire. I'm on a semen retention for 180 days, and I feel like a fucking animal, bro. You must be ready to fuck through a wall. I'm gonna tell you this now, David Vickers. I appreciate your abstinence. Chad as you are for getting that done. From a medical standpoint, I certainly wouldn't recommend it. I guarantee you, and this is just I'm not saying I'm speaking from experience, but I might be. Don't be alarmed, yeah, when you let off that first nut, yeah, and there's blood in it. That's all I'm gonna say. Your balls are not designed to contain a nut for that long. No, it looks more like Dorian Gray to me. Timmy, you're just I love you, man. Oh, I sound a lot like. I thought you said I look like him. That was a fucking mate. I'm sorry. I should have read that more carefully. That was a complete waste of time. Do you like golden showers? Can I take you to Tinkletown? I'm more of a golden shower. I was about to say I'm more of a golden shower giver, but I've never done that in my life. I've been asked to do that, but I've never done it. I'm on a semen retention starting right now. Man's like, starting from now. Shout out to you. David Vickers, how your sheets doing? This Luke makes a good point, yeah. Vickers, yeah. There's no way yet you haven't woken up covered in your own jizz. There's no way. Your body will not allow it. So you can try to force a 6-month, forcing the swimmers to stay inside the pool, but sooner or later those bad boys have got to escape. They got to swim. I mean, wet dreams are kind of for 17-year-olds, but I respect the discipline, the fact that you're doing that. Well done to you. Is there any particular reason why you're abstaining? Hard for me. I got that ush gush last night. We're getting a group of absolute legends in here now. I fucking love this community. Retaining semen in your mouth doesn't count. Oh, fuck me. Jiu-jitsu or Muay Thai? Muay Thai all day. I've got a young son and I've got him doing Muay Thai classes. But he's at the stage where he's where when I take him to classes, he runs around and just kicks people. Nobody listens to him. Wet dreams are God's way of saying he loves you. Oh, I don't speak Russian. Nasty. That's how I'm going to pronounce your name, though. You nasty. Have a good day, Frankie. Tone, much love, brother. Enjoy the card. If Timmy's in here, which I hope he is, as soon as Dougie goes on, we're gonna hopefully some of you will migrate over there, but we're gonna hang around for a bit until he does. Spiritual enlightenment, more creative endeavors. Well, David, I'm just gonna be honest with you. I've made attempts to do that. I've made attempts. And I think the longest I got to was about 4 months. It didn't end well. It ended up in a trip to the clinic where I was freaking out. I thought I had bollock cancer. That's how bad it was. Why are people talking dirty in chat? It's just a bit of light banter, Big Nesh. I can understand why it might be offensive to you, but just ignore it. And stick to what you want to talk about, and I will duly respond to you, sir. Nastia was asking if you like vodka Saya Blayat. I mean, I'm down for a bit of vodka. I slept with a Russian girl from the club and I woke up with no passport. Oh, I came to you. Have you forgotten me already? I've never smashed a Russian girl. I would be the first to sing it from the rooftops if I had, but I haven't. I have not. Are your cherries okay? They're back to full. They're back. This was years ago, but that trip to the clinic was not the one. I'll be real. Like the next 10 times I nutted after that had blood in it. And I was in the island at the time, and I went to go and see an Irish, there was a nurse or a sexual health clinic person. Um, and when I told her what happened, she was very relaxed about the whole thing. And then she went to me, when's the last time you ejaculated? And I was like, it's been about 4 months. And she went, don't do that. Because apparently, obviously there's swimmers in there and they keep butting heads against the wall of your very large ball sack, as she put it. Her words, not mine. She didn't really say that. So yeah, apparently it just kind of chips away at the walls, and then obviously if you've got something that's multiplying and growing in there and you're not letting those bad boys out, you're gonna have issues. So I'm just saying, bro, be very, very careful with that. But I imagine your testosterone must be through the roof right now. You must be on edge. The nurse sucked you off right then and there. I would love for that to have been. Well, to be fair, she was like 50 years old. At that point, bro, I'm gonna be honest with you. Yeah, I was so scared. I don't think nothing would have given me a boner in that moment. Nobody, nobody would have been able to get a stiffy out of me the way I was feeling at that time. We've all made that death march to the clinic, and it's never a fun time. I'm gonna keep it ripe and honest with you. I once nutted inside my girlfriend. It didn't stop. I went for like an extra 20 seconds, and a second nut came out. That was probably just a misfire. It's happened to me very rare on occasion where I've nutted and then stayed hard and just been able to continue. It has happened to me before, but and I think it's more that you don't get the full. There's some reserves in there that you didn't quite manage to push through the barrel. Boy, I walk in at the right time, don't I? Crystal, if you walked in at any time, this is what we would be talking about. Shout out to you, Crystal Miller. Fucking love you, girl. Hope you're all right. You need to keep me up to date again with what you've been up to, because again, Discord. Crystal, you need to get a WhatsApp. If you get WhatsApp, you and me will chat every day. I keep forgetting that I have a Discord, and you know it's love. I'm a sexy bitch. Oh, now you speak English. Fucking put your hands in the air if you're a sexy bitch up in here. We all think we're sexy bitches up in here. Because we are. Do you think that people have any kind reasons to watch MMA? By kind, do you mean like something that's like not barbarian? I would say yes. I think at the end of the day, Vignesh, martial arts is an art form. It's like a chess match with like serious consequences, unless it's like Juliana Pena fighting, in which case it's more like tiddlywinks. But it's intriguing and amazing because it's as based as it gets. I'll link Crystal to your WhatsApp. Fucking hell. Is she on WhatsApp already? You know, if you're having troubles with the things, I have giant zucchinis over here. Is that a euphemism? Nutting is like one of those video games where you got to hit the button at the exact right time to get full points. Mr. C, you must stay in this community for the rest of your life because you are a valuable contributor. Good man, you're going for Aspinall, Jack P all day long. Of course I am. And it's not because of British bias here. Tom Aspinall is just a straight up killer. And I think Cyril Gane is skilled in what he does, but he has holes in his games. In his game. I don't know why I said games. He's got holes in his game. He's French. I don't care. I think he's gonna get slumped. I think he's a coward. I watch MMA because of those Dan Henderson style of knockouts. The thing is about MMA, yeah, when it reaches the height of heights, when you're really invested in a fighter and they win, there are very few feelings like it. I don't know. MMA gets me hard for some reason. Bro, that's the dream, innit? To watch a sport that you love and to have a massive boner while doing it. That's the dream. And I fully endorse what you're saying. I started to see MMA to defend myself with bullies as I always get bullied. I'm sorry to hear that, man. What you should do, Vignesh, is try and get yourself down to a gym. Because the thing is, with most bullies, all you need to do is have some level of skill. Because 99% of people who are out on the street don't know how to fight. They might just be more willing than you and more of an asshole, and they're willing to do it. Whereas if you get some degree of training, get a little bit of wrestling training, get a little bit of kickboxing training, and you'll be good to go. Hit a little gym as well. But yeah, Jack, I'm glad you I do talk a lot of nonsense on here, but sometimes the odd little snippet of wisdom comes through. Okay, I'm just kidding. Where are you from? I'm from Russia, Moscow based. I am from Ireland originally, so fellow drinker in the house. Shout out to you and the vodka. But I grew up in the UK, but I've traveled everywhere and lived in China, lived in Qatar, lived in Thailand, lived in America for a little bit. I've been about, but as of now, I'm back living in the UK. No, I have actual zucchinis right now. I've got about 90 pounds of them in my living room, and I don't know what I'm going to do with them all. What I love about you, Crystal, is you do stuff like you make honey, like you have beehives, you make honey, you grow stuff in your garden or on your farm, and then only when they're there do you go, hang on a second, what are we going to do with all these zucchinis? And I love you for it. Most bullies are semen. Yeah, most bullies are just scared, or they've been bullied, or they're just cunts. Crystal get WhatsApp right fucking now. Thank you. Do that, Crystal. Worst country you've ever lived in? Kuwait. Kuwait is a shithole. So Jack, basically, back when I was, Kuwait looks like Slough in the 1970s. It's grey, it's grim, and it's very strict there. So I'm going to give a hypothetical to you. This might be a true story. You can decide or not. Imagine if you are out in a retail store one day and you meet a fine looking Asian lady, you get her number, you tell her what the get down is. Listen, we're going to go meet in a hotel. I want to have a little bit of a smash. Are you down or not? She says yes. You get to the hotel, you've paid for it already. And then the cunt who owns the hotel asks for your marriage certificate and says you cannot enter unless you present one. At this point, your balls are blue and you're very upset. And it suddenly becomes No Nut Tuesday. That's how I feel about Q8. It's an absolute shithole. It looks grim, and I'm sorry, but I should be able to throw around, or back in the day when I used to do that, I should be able to throw my penis around wherever and in whomever I want to. Marriage certificate. Disgusting behavior. So shout out to Kuwait for being the worst country I ever had the displeasure of being in. Are you willing to recap your picks for the card? Absolutely. I'll quickly shoot through them. So I have got, and again, don't take my full advice on this because I'm not an expert. I just go with my gut. But if it coincides with something that you might be thinking of, maybe it will substantiate how you're feeling. Oh, shit, the UFC started. I've got Sam Hughes versus Sean O'Bannon, although that fight is happening right now, and I don't know how it's going. I've got Gustafsson versus Fakhretdinov. I've got Brad Tavares versus Brychek. I've got Sam Patterson versus Trey Waters. I'm going to plump for Harry Hardwick, even though Kawhi Fernandez is really good. I'm just going to go with my gut. I'm going with Tybura against Elijah, although I'm not sure about that one. I've got Umar Sy against Bredson Ribeiro. I've got the Gomis and Richala one. I'm going to go with Gomis, but I think he's shit. I'm going to go with Reese McKee over Axel Solar. I'm going to go with Balaji Oki against Mason Jones. Again, not too sure about that. Bakauskas by terrible decision against Craig. I've got Rufi sending Benoit for a dirt nap. And then I've got Nasadina Mavov beating Baralho. And those are my picks. Let me jump over to the card. Has it actually started proper yet? Oh, she's coming in. I think Shauna Bannon's coming into the cage now for anyone who gives a fuck. Yep. Oh, she already beat her up. I told you, Shauna Bannon. Who said Shauna Bannon by sub? Is that in the first round? That is fucking embarrassing. Shauna Bannon is so bad. Easy. Is that round 1? I feel so much better having got through that without watching it. My bullies are above 6 foot, where I am 6'7" and lean. If I get into a fight with them, it would be terrible for me. If I complain, they call me a coward. Do you have friends? You've got 2 options, Vignesh. You can either ignore them, which it sounds like isn't an option, or you've just got to go out swinging. The thing is, if they're just bullying you with words, just go on like you don't give a fuck. Or just say, like if they say you're a skinny little twat, just go, yeah, I'm a skinny little twat, I can dodge the rain. You got to lean into the abuse. Because the thing about bullies, Vignesh, most of the time people bully people to get a reaction. And if they don't get it, and this is honest psychological advice here, if they don't get it, eventually they get bored. It's the reaction that they want. Imagine training for months, grueling weight cut, and all just to lose in that fashion in the first round. Bro, it's embarrassing, isn't it? I told you she's shit though. So your boy is 1-0. 1-0. That was always going to happen. Shauna Bannon should not be in the UFC. And they've only got her in there because she probably scrubs up quite well. And she's Irish. And they do like that market. Oh, Crystal. We're on the same page for most of these. That's because we're both fucking geniuses. Simple. Does anyone think that Sandhagen might have a chance against Merab? I don't think he wins, but oh, look at Bannon. She looks like she's an albino. I think if you have blonde hair, you should not cane roll your hair. Look at her face. She looks like a little. I mean, Sam Hughes is no prize pick either. But are you a Paddy the Baddy fan, or is he overrated? I wasn't really a big fan of Paddy back in the day, but I'll be honest, his last performance against Michael Chandler really made me a fan of him. I don't like when he speaks. I don't think he's very funny or interesting. However, it was round 2 submission. I think he's a good fighter. I think Merab's going to maul him. That's probably the most likely outcome. I do like Sandhagen's very well rounded. Don't get me wrong. I think he loses, and I love Merab, but I give Sandhagen a chance. He's very lengthy. I think it could be a tough fight for Merab. And Sandhagen, again, personality-wise, is a little bit of a wet wipe. We have to call it what it is. So we're off and kicking. 1-0 for the boys. Let's go. Next up is who? Gustafsson and Fakhretdinov. It is mad that this fight is all the way down on this. You bet on it by sub. A sub was coming in that fight. Yeah, Fakhretdinov and Gustafsson is going to be a war. This might be fight of the night we're getting right here. So if you're not tuning in yet, tune in for Renat Fakhretdinov and Andreas Gustafsson. They are going to swing for the fences, and they're going to get nothing for it. Beating Bobby Green and washed up Ferguson and a 2-5 Chandler isn't impressive. I get that. It was more the nature in which it was more the way he beat Chandler that impressed me. He doesn't have good wins on his record, and he's annoying as fuck. I don't like his personality. He might end up in a fight with Ilya just by default. But I think, and now Justin Gaethje, it looks like he's off the table. They want to get Paddy a good route to a title shot because they think he's popular. And I don't think he's as popular as the UFC seem to believe. I don't know where they're getting that metric from. I missed the first fight as well. I literally tuned in while she was strangling her. Apparently, Sam Hughes dominated her for the entire fight, which we all predicted, and then strangled her out in the second round. Very predictable. God, Sam Hughes is ugly. Look at the hooter on her. I know I'm not one to talk, but my nose isn't that bad. Her nose is literally, it ruins her whole face. I hope Ilya chins, bro. I hope he does as well. I would love to see Ilya. Ilya has grown on me more and more the more I've watched him. I've always thought he was talented, but I wasn't. But he's based as fuck as well. And if you listen to his interviews, he's funny as well, man. And he believes in himself. I like that. This is going to be a fucking war. Andreas Gustafsson looking like Napper. She had a long post-fight interview. Do you know why she had a long post-fight interview? They had worked in the television time for a boring decision. And like the tech crew just woke up like, shit, fight's over. Fuck. Keep her talking. I actually like Renat Fakhretdinov, but he's got the most deceptive record in MMA at the moment. He's not a 23-1 fighter. Not by a long shot. Not by any stretch of the imagination. That is madness. So yeah, this is the fight that you want to watch. This is going to be a barn burner. Ilya is a gentleman with confidence. I fuck with that heavy. Choro, have you seen his misses as well? His misses is a dime piece. An absolute dime. That's breeding stock if I've ever seen one. I think his misses and DDP's misses are elite level in terms of like MMA wags. Beard, it's a Napa versus, who does Fakhretdinov look like? It looks like Napa versus Napa's retarded, Napa if he was from like an inbred ulterior timeline. So it's actual Napa versus retard Napa. If any of you get that reference. Yeah, Shorty fine as fuck. Respectfully though. Yeah, you gotta say respectfully because I wouldn't want Ilya to find out I'm talking this way. That I would literally get right up in those guts. Because she is again, respectfully. I would respectfully get up in your wife's guts. I think that's a compliment. It's a compliment these days. I'm assuming that Dougie's Corner is about to go live because some of you lot aren't aware of this about me, but I've actually got my son is actually running around at the moment, and I've got to pay him attention at some point today. I'm actually a half decent father, despite the way that I talk. Let's see if Dougie's Corner is live. So we're gonna get our nutsacks over to Dougie's Corner now. Remember to shout out the channel when you get over there and show him some love. He's one of the boys. Should I call the police because your beauty stole my heart? Listen, Noria, I'm very, very susceptible to flattery. Flattery like that, my jocks hit the fucking floor quicker than you can blink. DBZ in the house. Shout out to you. Jack, make sure you subscribe. You seem like a good lad. Would love to have you as part of the community. Nora, I'm always down for a bit of glazing. Good to have you back. I've posted a link in the description. Churro, if you could get over there as well, I'm sure Dougie would appreciate having you over there. Follow the link in the description. I will be back tomorrow. I'm going to do a panel with some of the boys to obviously discuss what's happened in the card. I've got to get back to being an actual parent and a productive member of society. I disrespectfully got in my friend's wife's. Oh, now it's coming out. Do you know what? We're going to talk about that one day. He was confident she wouldn't do anything, only for bro to find out that she slept with 3 of his close friends and like 10 other guys. Ugh. I don't get friends, and I don't know why I don't get any friends, but almost nobody support me even from my school management. I'm ashamed to say this to my bro. Bro, Vignesh, the thing is, yeah, you're You're a young man by the sounds of it. Some people are late bloomers. And like I said, I always appreciate the fact that you're willing to talk about your personal life here because it must be difficult. It must be. But maximum respect for you. And you've always got people you can talk to here. Some of them might take the piss, but that's what people do. I will not. He was freaking out at work. He was like, that fucking whore. I kissed her. I fucking kissed her. Yeah, that would be my first reaction. Whenever a woman cheats on you, you don't think, oh my God, she's cheating. You think, oh my God, I've been kissing that bitch and she's been sucking dick. That's the first thing we think as men. It's more like, ugh, ugh. Although, and you know, you're thinking to yourself, did she suck some dick and then come over? Did she disrespect me to the nth degree? Anyway, lads, head over to Dougie's Corner. I've posted the link again. I'm going to shoot off, but I'll be back tomorrow, evening time in the UK. So it'll be about 9:30. Shout out to everyone that was new. Like I said, if you wouldn't mind hitting the like button before you head out, I'd very much appreciate it. And if you could, Choro, don't get me started. I fucking hate women, and we will get into it. I basically speak about how much I hate them in almost every stream I have. I mean, I can't stop dunking in them, but I hate them. It's a love-hate relationship. Shout out to you, Choro. You've been you've been an amazing chat member as well. Give Dougie a shout. He's based as fuck. Hit the like. Subscribe to the channel if you wouldn't mind. Much love to everyone who's turned up. I hope you enjoyed the cards, and we'll talk about it tomorrow and whatever bullshit comes up. Much love to you all. Have a wonderful rest of your Saturday. Peace. Peace. Fakradinov isn't going to win. I don't think so. We'll see. Peace. See you later, Duck.